Fear is a paralyzing, confusing, negative emotion that makes us shrink, shiver, and want to disappear. It makes us feel that we would want to do anything else in the world except facing that thing that produces the fear. Often the fear we feel is towards an idea of what would happen if given a specific set of circumstances, if things didn't work out well for us, and we imagine the fear. We visualize surreal scenarios of horrible outcomes. We can literally feel our hearts beating fast, as well as other physical reactions like sweating, twitching, crying. You get the picture. I think that at the moment before the event we fear fear itself. But we may feel emotionally incapacitated when we know that in a certain situation in our lives, we need to shift to a new level of being or face a change in the situation, and we must either take an action in regards of that specific subject or change a pattern of behavior. But the key word here is change. I always find it curious when in a situation in my life that I had to face, for instance, public speaking engagement, an exam, a test, an interview, going to a hospital for an operation, a procedure. It was more about the feeling or nervousness before the event than what it turned out to be at the moment when I was actually doing it. The moment I started to face the act that was so scary or the challenging situation, the fear seemed to disappear or at least shrink quite a lot. But I also found that part of that feeling of fears comes from the perception of loss of control. What if? We know that loss of control produces the emotion of fear, and that fear produces a sense of loss of control. Vicious circle. In a situation like this, we actually lock ourselves in a vicious circle, and in order to break this cycle, we need the opposite of fear, courage. Courage doesn't mean that we don't fear something. It means that even if we fear it, it doesn't freeze us, that we'll still summon ourselves and get on with it and get it done. But there are other soul qualities that also help us in our battle against the fear. Trust combats fear. Love conquers fear. Action diminishes fear. Humility to learn opens the way. Focusing on helping others or doing things for a greater good also imbues us with the energy necessary to face our fears. This is why it is important to work towards a goal that benefits others as well as us. I think it is human nature to want to make an extra effort or to go the extra length when we know that we will be helping others somehow. Every fear shows us an area where we need to focus, an area of our life that requires attention and love. That fear is showing us a limitation and thus a lesson that we need to learn. So fear is like a little child that needs to be loved. When we run away from the fear, it grows and becomes threatening. Accepting the challenges that our fear brings to us expands our consciousness and allows us to think in broader terms, creating more possibilities for our lives. Every time we face a fear, it diminishes in power. It integrates into our light and ceases to be a part of our shadow. And as it gets integrated in our personality, as we include it instead of disowning it, we become more whole. This integration strengthens our energetic and psychic matrix. We're able to recycle the energy that we were spending trying to hold down the feelings and emotions of that lurking subconscious fear. And we feel more rooted in reality and less absorbed in the surreal world where that fear lives. So, next time you feel a fear, think of it as a doorway to an opportunity to work on your shadow self and incorporate into your personality that disowned part of yourself, that forgotten memory or experience that you don't want to face. I think that it will surprise you, and you will surprise yourself once, having arrived at the other side of this doorway, you will see yourself in a beautiful light, a beautiful life of your fuller being, grasping the larger picture of your life waiting for you, and climbing the feeling of being expansive love that is our birthright, our destiny, and our privilege.